Welcome to the Woodshop at K-State's Art Department. Before using any tool, be sure to do the following. Go to the Woodshop Canvas page, download the liability waiver, read, sign, and submit it to the portal. Complete the Woodshop General Safety module by reading the emergency and general safety policies, review the Woodshop standard operating procedures, watch the associated video, and take the General Shop Safety Quiz. Once these are completed, review each module for the tools you wish to use. Watch the videos, review the manual, and take the quiz. You must wear eye protection when using any tools in the woodshop. You must wear ear protection when using any power tools in the woodshop. You must wear a dust mask when creating any dust. These are found next to the main entrance. A floor model power sander is a power tool with a base that connects to the floor or bench. They have a higher power motor than hand tools generally do. These sanders have either a belt, disc, or drum that attaches to the motor's arbor. Each sander is designed for a different application. Some are good for sanding convex and flat surfaces, others concavities. This disc sander is having trouble getting into the concavities of this workpiece, while this 2-inch belt sander can get the convexities, it cannot get this concavity. This spindle sander is perfect for this job. De-energize the tool by unplugging it before performing maintenance or inspecting the machine and the abrasive pad for wear and damage. Plan your work before powering on. Decide which machine is best for the operation you are performing. Strike a line. Be sure to have enough space to maneuver your workpiece in, and plan where your hands will secure the piece without being too close to the abrasive surface. Power sanders should only be used to refine shapes, not to remove bulk material. Make sure you use another tool like a saw to remove the bulk of the material before you use the sander. These power sanders use aggressive abrasive pads that remove material quickly. Be sure to use these only for removing and smoothing larger portions of material and not for fine tuning, and are not meant for smoothing an entire work surface of a large piece of material. If anything smells, sounds, or looks wrong, shut the machine off and report it. Do not sand pieces that are too small to be safely supported. Be aware of pinching yourself or the material between the table and the sandpaper. There is usually a small 1/8 inch opening between the table and the machine. This could pull an object or body part into the machine, creating damage to you, your piece, or the machine. A disc sander uses a circular abrasive pad mounted on a disc that is then mounted to a motor. This motor will spin the abrasive disc at a high rate of speed. Disc sanders are best used for convex forms or flattening out flat areas. Turn on the dust collection system and open the gate. Be sure to remember where the power switch is on the tool. Avoid kickback. Be aware the direction of the motor of the sander. Disc sanders will have one side of the disc that is coming up from the table, and the other side will be pulling down through the table. Be sure to only use the side of the disc that is pulling down through the table. Re-energize the tool. Once powered on, wait for the motor to come up up to speed before use. Place your workpiece on the table of the machine. Never lift your piece off from the table. Keep your fingers and all body parts 4 inches or more away from the abrasive pad. If you find damage to the abrasive pads, make sure to replace them before use. Here, we are using spray adhesive to help connect the abrasive pad to the disc. Once done, power the machine off and wait for the disc to stop before leaving the tool. You may use the brake found either on top of the machine or a lever to the back of the machine, depending on the style of machine you're using. If you wish to create a bevel with the sander, do not lift the piece off of the work surface. Instead, loosen the clamp below the work surface and use the crank to change the angle of the work surface and then re-tighten the clamp. Belt sanders use a motor to drive 2 spindles that stretch an abrasive pad that is connected into a belt. The belt then revolves around these 2 spindles at a high rate of speed. Place your workpiece on the table of the machine. Never lift your piece off from the table. If you wish to create a bevel with the sander, lower and raise the angle of the work table. Do this by loosening the clamp on the side of the work table, move the table up or down, and re-tighten the clamp. Keep your fingers and all body parts 4 inches or more away from the abrasive pad. Power machine on. Wait for the motor to come to speed, place material on the work table, and push material into the abrasive pad slowly. Avoid kickback. Be aware of the direction of the motion of the sander. Belt sanders will pull the paper down through the table. Belt sanders use an aggressive abrasive pad that can eat through material very quickly. Do not try to use this machine as a final finishing step. This should be used to help shape and smooth areas in an aggressive manner. This 2-inch wide belt sander uses the same instructions as a normal belt sander, but this machine can get into tighter spaces. Oscillating spindle sanders use a spindle mounted on a motor to mount abrasive pads to. These abrasive pads are cylindrical and will conform to concave shapes. There are different sizes of abrasive pads that can be mounted onto the motor to get into different diameters of concave shapes. To replace the spindle drum abrasive pad, de-energize the tool by unplugging it. Grip the drum with hand firmly. Remove the reverse threaded nut atop the drum by backing it out with the provided socket wrench found under the work surface. Remove the nut, washer, and drum from the spindle, and the blue table insert from the table top. Replace with a new sized drum. Then replace the washer and nut and tighten it down by firmly gripping the spindle and tightening the nut atop. Replace the parts taken off from the sander underneath the tabletop and put a new tabletop insert to correspond with the new sized drum. Use the spindle sander. First, inspect the de-energized tool. Plan your work before use. Make sure to have enough space for your workpiece and the correct drum size is installed. Keep hands and body parts at least 4 inches away from the abrasive drum. Power on the machine. Place material on the tabletop and make sure it is secured down with your hands. Do not hold material off from the table. Push the material into the spinning abrasive pad, sanding against the rotation of spin. Be aware of the direction of the spin. This rigid, oscillating edge belt or spindle sander is a good combination of a belt sander and a spindle sander. De-energize the tool by unplugging it before inspecting the tool for damage or belt replacement. In order to use, re-energize the tool, open the dust gate, and flip the power switch on. This has 2 revolving drums on either end with a flat portion in between those 2 drums. You may use the 2 drum ends, much like an oscillating spindle sander, to get into concavities, while using the flat portion like a belt sander to do some convexities or flat areas. Keep your workpiece flat on the tabletop. Do not lift your piece off the table. When finished, turn off the power switch, re-close the dust collection gate, and unplug the machine.